The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you were just talking to me. Do you think that you could repeat the question? And I listen more attentively. There must have been something in all of that nothing that wasn't quite so easy to see. And I must have missed something.
I should have just let these two do a show today.
I mean, you still can.
Facebook is so slow again today.
Yep.
When you were busy slamming the door, I guess the things that pass for affection ain't the same as they were before. There must have been
take the lead, Lisa?
in all of that.
Now I can't get it to go back to my regular
I want to do the show
I
today.
know.
Horrible. I wish Elon Musk would buy Facebook and make it better.
I don't mind just a little. It's driving me out of my mind.
That's
Oh, could you spare me the riddle and hand me a bottle or something that's
one last hit before the show starts.
Oh my God.
I wish I had a dime for every time she said, "Oh my God," in my presence.
You'd be a rich man.
All right, 2 out of 3. Not bad. I'm not even sure why she hangs out with me. Everything I say horrifies her.
I don't know why any of us hang out with you anymore.
Can't argue with that.
He is very entertaining. I mean, I'm paid to be here, so I guess we solved that mystery. I pay him to be here. Wow. That's even worse.
Yeah.
God. He is very endearing. Isn't he, though? Very.
Ooh, 3 in a row. All right, can't beat that. Might as well start the show.
I was gonna say,
Hi, how you
yeah.
guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan here with the Paying Attention Podcast. Hi, atop 2 guys smoke shop at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. I got a pretty interesting show for you today. I got 2 of my favorite people in the world here in the studio. We've got Lisa Williams from AFC Urgent Care. It used to be Doctors Express.
I know.
And now they're AFC Urgent Care. And Doctors Express was a lot easier to say and remember.
But that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
6.
right? And we have Dave Consoli, who is in the studio today to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, including what's going on in Methuen these days. Before we do, I just want to wrap up some things. Well, first let's thank our sponsors. Let me pull up my sponsor list because let's face it, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. It's episode, what is this, 251, right?
Yeah, I think
251 today. McLennan Real Estate, Century 21. I got my list from the Essex County Registry of Deeds. They send us a list of all of the home sales for the month before.
It's small.
We used to print 3.5 pages of home sales and foreclosures every month in the Valley Patriot. And the last couple of months, we've been down to 2 pages. This month, we're down to 1.5 pages. And I have to tell you, the interesting thing about this is the majority, 2/3 of the home sales we're printing in next week's paper are Methuen. People in Methuen are getting the hell out, apparently. But the flip side of this, which is what McLennan Real Estate, Matt McLennan always reminds me, is that even though a lot of people are selling their homes, somebody's buying them, right? People are coming in. So it's not like we're losing population in Methuen. I also want to thank the Zany Pesci Law Office. They specialize in bankruptcy. So if you're a small business and you're thinking about bankruptcy, this is the place to go. They're really experts at that. And you want to go in and you want to ask for the hottest woman on the face of the earth, Jana Zany Pesci. She's
So inappropriate.
She is.
This is never going to change.
You'll ever. All right, very good, very good. Well, you know, it's funny. Everybody else protests, but she actually likes it when I call her that. So a pox on all your houses. Marsan and Son Construction, EIS. investigation and gun trading. I actually just hired EIS to do a small little investigation for me on something that I'm looking into. Tomo and Shaken Seafood. We were at Tomo last week. Man, I'll tell you, the food there just keeps getting better and better. They've got a new sushi on the menu, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but I'll remember it next week, and I'll bring it in. Wow, is it good. We were waiting for Borelli's Deli. Let me see if he got back to us last minute. Maybe he did. I'm going to have to forward this over to you, and we'll do it later on in the show. But we do have tomorrow's sandwich of the day, and remind me later when we put this up on the screen. Chicken cutlet, prosciutto, roasted reds, fresh mozzarella, balsamic glaze, and grated cheese on a Tripoli sub roll. And wait till you see how good this looks. I'll forward this over to you when these guys are talking. Then we'll pull it up later in the show. Who else? We have Clear Path for Veterans New England. We have another veteran that we found at TMF last night, and we're hooking him up next week with Randy and Jason over at Clear Path, and they're going to put him through the whole system and give him all kinds of benefits, which is great. Let's see who AFC Urgent Care, Dave Id Consoli, Pleasant Valley Landscape. We got to get him on the show.
Those
Don't we
two
have
people
to?
sitting next
Oh, right,
to you.
they're already here. All right, very good, very good. Yeah. Stacks in Haverhill. Well, you guys have to come with us. We're doing this thing, and we're going to try and do it next week after the paper comes out. We're going to get a bunch of people together. We're going to go to Loaded and Stacks in Haverhill. They're right next to each other off Washington Street. And we're going to order like everything on the menu. We're just going to split the bill evenly, and we're going to try everything, and then we're going to ask everybody to kind of like write what their favorite thing was, so we can put it in the newspaper and talk about it on the show, because Stacks and Loaded are owned by the same family that just bought Borelli's Deli, and we want to give them as much publicity as we can, but also,
Sounds good.
Also, I'm a big food guy, as everybody knows
You're
who
a
follows
foodie.
me. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do I have to stand near you? Because after what you did to the Haverhill City Council, I don't think
you
I
might want to
be
sit at
anywhere
a different
near you.
table, right? Yeah, right.
Also
want to
I
thank.
don't follow any of this.
We also want to thank Par 28 right here in Salem, New Hampshire. We are going to have Kevin Druin bring his golf buddies up there sometime next week. And also a free shout out to JG's Ice Cream. I love those guys. They do so much for the community. So let me just get to a couple of things before we get to our guests. I know they've got a lot of things to talk about. I do have an apology. I want to start off with an apology, because when I get something wrong, I try to go out of my way to try and make it right. That's kind of just who I am and why I do what I do at the Valley Patriot. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I talked about the HR director in Lawrence, Gina LaGreca, who resigned in Lawrence and got a job for Neil Perry in Methuen. And at the time, I was fed a line out of City Hall that she was not really well liked and she wasn't really doing a good job, and they were glad that she was gone. Since then, I have come into some private emails that have gone back and forth between Gina LaGreca, who is the HR director in Lawrence, and the mayor's office concerning illegalities going on in City Hall that were being let go, that people were looking the other way over, and are going to cost the city millions. And when I say millions, we're going to break this story soon, but I'm still doing a lot of research on it because I want to make sure I want to get all the facts right. But I came in here and I said, maybe it's good that she's gone. It's good that she's working for Neil Perry because I hear she doesn't do a good job. I want to apologize to Gina LaGreca. I don't know her. I don't think I've ever met her. If I have, I don't remember. But now that I've come into additional information, I just want to clear the record up that I shouldn't have said what I said without doing a little bit more research. I was going on someone's word that I kind of trust, and I've kind of lost a little trust in that person now. But I just want to make it right. I just want to say that I'm sorry about that. And I've now come to learn that the reason she left Lawrence were extremely good reasons. She didn't want to have anything to do with some of the illegalities that were going on and that people were looking the other way over concerning the Inspectional Services Department in Lawrence, and we are going to talk about that on a subsequent show. Also, our ratings, 64.5% jump in ratings last month. Holy crap, Chrissy.
I know.
How did that happen?
You must be talking some good things that people want to hear.
It's certainly not my winning.
Or controversial things that no one wants to hear, but they can't help but tune in.
I think that's
Everyone likes to watch a train crash, right?
Right, that's probably much more like it. So I want to thank all of our new listeners, our new viewers. I know a lot more people listen to the audio than watch the video, which is great because people download the podcast. They listen in their car or when they're running or when they're doing their exercising at home or whatever. So welcome to all of you, especially the new people. We'll try and give you as much of a treat as we can each week, as long as you keep coming back. TMF last night got a $5,000 check. TMF is the Movement Family. It's a group of kids that help out. And I say kids, there are some adults involved, but it's mostly Lawrence kids. minority kids, just, no less, who go every Wednesday night to the bus station on Common Street and feed the homeless. And they also do a lot of other stuff too, but that's the main focus of what they've been doing. They got a $5,000 check from the employees at the Shaw's warehouse in Methuen, who came and gave $5,000 to help them help the homeless. So we want to thank Shaw's. We want to thank
amazing.
the TMF kids for what they do.
Can I give a shout out for also involving TMF?
Sure, absolutely, yes.
So, for those who are newly listening, I host a music bingo night every Thursday at Sadie's Bar and Grill in Salem, New Hampshire. And each month, the proceeds get donated 50-50 to a charity, and then we do 50-50 cash prizes. So this month, every time you come and play for the next month, all the proceeds are going to TMF. That's our chosen charity of the month.
Nice.
So tonight, when you come and play, all the excess proceeds jackpot into the end of the month. So we give out little gift cards as gifts during the week. During the month, and then the very last Thursday of the month we do mega music bingo jackpot. So we give out 50-50 cash prizes, and the rest of it goes to the charity.
That's
so
amazing.
If you want to support TMF, come down literally every Thursday this month and play some music bingo. Maybe win some prizes.
And you just did one of my other favorite charities, which is Isaiah 58 right here in Salem, New
We did do Isaiah,
Hampshire.
and we were just shy of raising $1,000. I think we got about $900, the lower nine, somewhere around the $920, $930 mark for them for the month.
Send me the actual number, and I'll round it up for you.
Awesome.
I'll make the donation, and I'll round it up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I love Carrie Clark Weiland, and I love Isaiah. And I only really came to know what they were doing because Carrie helps with, she runs House of Mercy in Lawrence. And that's her other charity here in New Hampshire because she lives in New Hampshire. And so through Carrie, I got to learn what they do up here. And she also always invites me every year. They have a gala. And that's always really good because I got a chance to actually meet Jean Shaheen the first year that I went. And she actually came and sat at my table. We had a long conversation, because I'm a right-wing conservative. She's a left-wing Democrat.
No.
But we had a very long conversation, and I really gained a tremendous amount of respect for her. Some of the conversations that we had, some of the positions that she took really surprised me, so much so that I endorsed her when she ran for Senate. So so I want to thank Carrie for that, just for exposing me to the New Hampshire politicians and inviting me for that. Also, what else do we have real quick? Our music bingo for the Valley Patriot. We're trying to raise money for our scholarships for the 20th anniversary bash, which is in March. David wasn't able to come this year. Oh yeah, you were there, and so was Lisa's too. Just had a brain fart.
He has
Sorry.
a short memory.
Right. No.
It's a cigarette.
When he introduced both of us.
Right.
Right. So we are going to. It's August 19th. It's a Saturday at the Clada in Lawrence. So it's $20. We do 5 rounds, or maybe we'll do more depending on what happens. But it's at least 5 rounds, and all of the money goes to our scholarship program for the 20th anniversary bash in March. So
might I just say, in those 5 rounds, there's 10 different prizes to be won. Well, there was last time. I don't know what we're doing this time, but there was 10 different prizes, and not one of those prizes was less than a $50 voucher, I think, to a local restaurant, or there was bottles of wine. So the prizes are really, for $20 to play the whole all games, it was really worth it. It was a really good night. I host that one too, by the way.
Right. And I'm not going back to the same people that donated last time, Borelli's Deli, Salvatore's, some of the other businesses that gave us because I don't want to keep going back to the well, because then people feel obligated to say yes even if they don't want to. So we are looking for other businesses to donate a gift card or a bottle of liquor or some kind of a gift basket for our music bingo, so that we have prizes to give out to people while we're trying to raise money for our scholarships. And really, I hope next year's scholarships that we can outdo the $54,000 we did last year, but I'm very skeptical. All right, what else do we have? One more thing. So our resident, so we lost Danny Langevin. I let her go in March. She was our radical lesbian columnist. And she wrote a really left-leaning column that infuriated a lot of my conservative readers, but that was the reason why she was there. Because you have to be able to challenge what you think you believe and challenge your own assumptions. And it's not good to have a newspaper that all has the same kind of political bent to it. So Danny was with us for about, maybe 13 years. And I got a lot of emails from people asking me why I let her go. I let her go because she's a teacher at the Methuen schools. And we had 2 Methuen kids, 2 Methuen residents, one from Methuen High School, one from the Voc, that we were raising money for scholarships at our bash last year. And all I asked her to do was share it on her page. After 13 years of us giving her free exposure in the paper, I wasn't asking her to come. I wasn't asking her to give any money. I was just asking her to share on her page, because there's a lot of teachers, Methuen teachers on her page. And I thought maybe it would generate some money for the kid. We get no money from this, by the way. 100% of what gets donated goes directly to the kid. And she refused because she doesn't like me. And I said, well, you know what? You write all these columns every month about how much you care about the frickin' children, and then you're not willing to even share something on Facebook to help raise money for the kids you say you care about. I've lost all respect for you, and I don't want you back. And she flamed off on me on Facebook. I'm a communist. I'm a racist, whatever. So since then, we've been looking for somebody to replace her. And boy, did we find a great guy. He is I'm not even going to call him a leftist. He is an avowed communist. We are going to call him our resident communist. It is his name is Yared, Louis Yared. And he's actually related to somebody everybody knows. She's a Methuen politician, or used to be. But he's a member of TMF. And I gave a talk on Monday night. They asked me to come and talk to the group about some stuff. And afterwards, he came over and said, I'm really interested in writing for you, but, I'm a communist, and you probably won't want me to do that. And I said, no, actually, you're exactly what I'm looking for right now. I need somebody who's going to represent the left in my newspaper. It makes people challenge their views if they're conservative or they're middle of the road, but also it opens up the Valley Patriot to people who have left-wing views, who maybe might pick up the paper now without Danny and see that there's not really anything that represents what their line of thinking is. So the purpose of this newspaper is not for me to push forward my opinions. Quite frankly, the only person who gives a shit about what my opinions are is me. Everybody else tolerates it. And by the way, that goes for you guys too. So I try to use my paper as a vehicle for other people to get their views out, and I want it to be as diverse as I possibly can, which is why we have so many Democrats writing for us. All right, what else? Do we have anything else? All right, so all right, I'm gonna save these other two things that I had for next week. Let's start with Dave in Consoli. He is the...
Start with Lisa.
Let's start with Lisa Williams. Lisa Savinelli Williams. What's with the three names?
I know.
You women always have to have three names to make it difficult for
Lisa,
guys like me.
Lisa, hurry up, because his quick couple things took up half the show.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, I just wanted to make an announcement that we're opening up a new urgent care in Haverhill.
Yay.
It's only taken 9 months, but whatever.
Finally.
I know. It's been a long process. So
where is it going to be?
It's almost like directly across the street from City Hall. It was it was the old Med Express.
Oh, okay.
That we were able to come in and take over. We should be opening up after Labor Day.
Okay.
But same services. We're going to be doing the same things.
Is it 24/7?
No. So we'll be 7 days a week. Hopefully our hours will be 8 to 8.
Okay.
Right now we're 8 to 6 just because of just staffing. It helps us retain our providers and our staff to have.
That's awesome.
No, that is great.
Yeah.
And you guys also do DOT physicals. We were promoting that on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get these two guys to do business together, because he's got DOT needs and you've got DOT physicals that you do. So
Yes.
Very popular. Hard to get in touch.
Right. Yeah. Well, so look at her. I mean, come on.
You stop.
Oh, God.
So have you ever considered opening up a location in Lawrence?
So
I push that every
everyone
week.
has asked.
Every week I push that.
I think you would do very well.
Yeah. We're working on a new fee schedule with the insurance carriers, because since COVID, of course, prices of everything has kind of skyrocketed. So I think after that, we might consider it.
So, do you have anything else you want to promote? Like what's going on with the Methuen and the North Andover locations?
Well, we are doing a lot of immigration physicals. You can walk in that day and you can start the process of getting an immigration physicals. And I know a lot of people in the area need immigration physicals. It's about a 2-week process. First you come in, you get your blood drawn, and then once those results come back, you meet with the doctor, and it's basically just a simple exam.
So when you say immigration physicals, you mean for people who are looking to become citizens, or people who are looking for green cards?
To be citizens, yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And I just sent Chrissy the sandwich of the day, so when we get a chance,
that's my big news.
That's the big news.
Yes.
Well, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And we'll try and give you some extra space for no cost, because you're so good to us. We'll try and give you some extra space this month in the Valley Patriot for that, if you want to send me something.
And I just love being here.
Do you really?
Yeah, I really do.
Because I always leave after you're on the show, and I think, how the hell does she put up with my crap for an entire 40 minutes?
Even with me here, she likes being
Right,
here.
right.
Well, I just love the smoke.
I'm not smoking. I'm trying really hard. I'm having heart issues, so I've cut down from 2 packs a day to half a pack a day.
I mean, you've only had at least 5 cigarettes. since
No,
you've
that's
been
not
here.
true. I nursed
Right.
one cigarette the whole time. Dave Consoli is here from Pleasant Valley Landscaping. And do you make your workers call you Dave Id?
Yes.
Okay, all right, fair enough. If I got to do it, everybody else should have to do it too. It's Dave Id Consoli.
They don't pause like you
Don't do the pause. No.
I don't think anyone else
They're not
calls him
intellectually
Say,
challenged.
excuse me, Dave Id. I got a problem over here with this bush.
They're not intellectually challenged
I
like
see.
you.
Well,
Dave
that's
Id.
true. That's very true.
So we're here because you've been asking me for 3 weeks to come on to
Right.
talk about.
I didn't really mean it. I was just using it to promote you.
Oh, okay. All the people that pulled papers and
Yep,
all
yep,
the rumors and all that other nonsense.
So we were talking, the last time you were here, you were kind of thinking of running for office, and publicly I was saying you should run, but privately I was saying, why would you want this crap?
Yeah, we took it under advisement. I talked to people in the know. I consulted my very good friend Dave Abdu on it, asked him started watching a bunch of city hall meetings, did some legwork. I was contemplating retiring and maybe have some time on my hands, but that's not going to happen in the next few years. So
I always feel bad for guys like you who take the plunge and decide to run for office. Like a good guy, treats people decently, is pretty moral, family guy, and then steps into politics because I think most people in your position who get into it have no idea how dirty it is, and they have no idea the onslaught that they're going to be under once they get in, if they run and they actually win. And so that's why, privately, I was saying, what do you want? What do you want this for? I even told Neil Perry when he ran, what do you want this grief for? Because it's so dirty. And when I say dirty, not only do I mean corrupt, but I also mean just the way people treat you in public. Like, they have no problem saying to a kid like Pavel Payano, who's one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet in your life, who's our new state senator, getting him up in a meeting and ambushing him and insulting him and calling his integrity into question and that kind of stuff. And I look at that and I go, what decent person would want to step into that environment?
Mr. Pavano was the reason why I didn't pull papers.
Really?
I watched that meeting where...
What meeting was that?
There was a meeting where they wanted him to sign, our representatives to sign a letter. And not that I disagree with what they were trying to do, but Mr. Pavano carries himself in a way that is very respectful. He's very professional.
Yes.
And the look on his face that night changed my mind.
They just ambushed him and said, why won't you sign this letter? And he said, well, why didn't you just send it to me instead of ambushing me at a meeting? And they just beat on him because he wouldn't say right there without reading it that he would sign this letter. And you're right, the look of horror on his face that he even said at one point, we just came from Methuen, and from Lawrence and North Andover and Haverhill, and they had questions about their schools and and you guys
But
are
he's an attorney. No attorney would ever just sign something blindly.
Yeah, and no politician would either, right?
I mean,
so it's
anyways.
about the way. I'm a big fan of Eunice Ziegler. She runs a great
very
meeting.
professional.
So DJ
lovely.
DJ Beauregard was at my house a couple weeks ago. He came
How did
by.
that go?
Very well. I like him.
Oh, good.
So he's a nice guy. And the way DJ carries himself, that level of professionalism, that's what I like. The way Eunice carries herself, that's what I like. There's no bomb throwing in meetings with those two. Why are you making a face?
Well, because I don't know what meetings you're watching, because the last 2 years, all I've seen is him throw bombs at Joe Solomon, throw bombs at other people.
Let's not go there, because you take it as people throwing bombs. When people assert themselves on positions that they have, he's not a jerk. Okay, he's not conducting himself like a jerk. Okay, and that's what I don't like, is when certain people on the council act like a fool.
He's been better lately, I'll say that.
Yeah, so as long as the council, we're on a good trajectory. I don't have a lot of time left after your couple quick things to talk about what trajectory we're on in Methuen. So
right.
So I just think that we're moving. I know you don't like Neil, but the numbers aren't lying.
No, he doesn't. Listen, there's a difference between not liking him and giving him praise when he does a good job. And I think overall he does do a good job, and I've said that multiple times.
Yeah, our bond rating is way up. from the mess that we're recovering from.
Smart.
We also repaid that $3 million loan from the state in 3 years. That was $3 or $4 million. I'm not sure.
I think it started as 3 and then, it started as 4 and went down to 3.
Yeah. So, those two things alone, not to mention, our trash system that nobody likes, has saved the city a ton of money. The trash consumption or disposal is down 28.2%. And we've saved over $500,000 in under a year just on trash. And recycling is up 30%.
But is that savings going to be translated to people getting more of their tax money back?
I don't know, but all I know is...
Because whenever a town has savings, they just spend it on something else. I'd rather it go back to the people who pay the taxes.
I just got my real estate tax bills.
Right.
My commercial rate went down.
Oh, good.
And that's one of the things we talked about, Neil, because Methuen's rates are much higher than surrounding towns. So they are working on that.
Right.
So, we're also here to talk about some of the candidates and the lack thereof. So maybe my hesitancy to jump in has affected other people who are thinking, especially on the school committee. There's not a lot of people running.
How pathetic is it that after the $4 million missing out of the schools, after the COVID shutdowns, all the shenanigans that have gone in the school system, every single politician's relative has a job in the school system in Methuen, and yet you've now got 5 people running for 6 jobs on the school committee. You would think parents, like when Jana DiNatale ran, she ran because her kids were in the schools, and she wanted, like Jana Zani-Pesci, the kids were in the schools and they wanted to make the schools better while their kids were there. You would think that there'd be a plethora. You would think that there'd be 10 parents fighting to get on this school committee to make the schools better for their kids. And instead you got 5 people running for 6 jobs. That's pathetic.
I think people are intimidated.
Yeah.
Do we have the graphic, Chrissy?
Chrissy does have the
who's
graphic.
running in Methuen?
Let me pull that up. And I think you need to pull your microphone a little closer so we can hear you
Who,
better.
me?
Yeah. And I had this too. All right. So for the mayor's race,
How's that?
very good.
It's aggressive. It was fine.
So for the
okay.
so for the mayor's race, and by the way, one of the problems that I have is they don't hold primaries, and that's also a problem because you've got like with the 5 people running for 6 jobs. If they had a primary instead of not having a primary, you might have 3 or 4 other people run a write-in campaign because if you're electing 6, 12 get nominated. You might have 12 candidates in the final if you held a primary, but they never hold a primary because it's like the Incumbent Protection Act. It helps the people who are already there if they cancel the primaries.
All right.
So you got the mayor's race. It's Neil Perry, the incumbent, versus Matthew Wicks.
I can't see that. Can you make it larger? No.
No, she can't. Can she? So,
Who's Matthew Wicks? I've never heard of him.
so I don't either, but I know he's a veteran. I spoke to somebody working on his campaign last week. I know he's a
There we go.
veteran. He's a young guy. I think his age might hurt him, but with Neil's physical issues, Mr. Wicks might end up winning this election either because Neil can't finish the campaign, or because people are afraid that if they elect him, he might not be able to finish his term.
Yeah, I think about Mayor Perry quite often. I'm hoping for the best because he's done a great job for the city, and God willing, he can continue.
He's not a bad mayor.
But his health, hopefully he's on the upswing. I know that he was in a rehab hospital for a while, but they say that he's doing better.
Right.
And he's still working. I mean, that guy's work ethic, he's
Yeah.
never going to stop.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that one. But the councilor at large, I think we got 3 positions. We got 3 incumbents. 2 incumbents.
Right.
Nicholas DiZoglio, Jana Pesci,
Yes.
who probably has some good backing because people know her.
And she's on the school committee
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, DJ Beauregard is the incumbent. Now, DJ was the top vote getter.
And he probably will be this time, too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, people like him. I find him pretty professional. And he does a decent job. So,
Right.
And now Frank Cirillo. Do you have any comments? Because I'm not too familiar with
I know
Frank.
Who do we have? So it's Nick DiZoglio, Jana Pesci, Frank Cirillo, and Dave Boga. So Frank Cirillo is the chairman of the Greater Lawrence Tech School Committee. He's been involved in a bunch of campaigns, Senate campaigns. He's campaigned for different state reps. his name has been on the ballot as a Methuen as the Methuen representative on the Greater Lawrence Tech School Committee, so people know the name. I think he will be formidable. He will spend money. He will knock doors. He's one of these guys that watches other candidates year after year not campaign and not knock doors and then not win. So he's smart. Like he's got the political acumen to, I think, maybe put himself over the border. But again, if they held a primary, right? So you've got 4 people running for 3 jobs. If there was a primary, 6 get nominated. You might have 2 people run on a write-in campaign. They'd only need 50 write-ins to get their name on the final ballot in a primary, and then the public would have 6 people to choose from. But the Methuen Council will not do it. I had every single one of them here doing debates 4 years ago, and they all said, "You're right, Tom. We should hold primaries." And when we get elected, we'll do it. Gosh darn it! And they never did.
So can I ask a question?
Sure. Yeah.
So in Methuen, who votes? Do you have that data?
What do you mean?
Like, is it the elderly? Is it like what demographics?
The turnout's terrible.
Yeah.
Your turnout's always terrible. I don't have them in front of me, but I would imagine that the elderly are probably the largest portion of those votes. Younger people probably the smallest
least,
portion.
yeah.
But I'll tell you what's growing is the Latino voters in Methuen. The Latino vote is growing.
So if you were-
Latinos
And not just in the Arlington
Yeah.
neighborhood either, in all the districts.
So if you were running for office, and if you were going to do the going door to door, you probably need a good strategy, right?
Just for counselor at large,
Yeah.
in your district, I
Yeah.
know, putting your concern aside because we don't have a ton of time.
Right.
At least we have a couple races where there is a race, and it's just not 3 people being rubber stamped. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Or 2 people. So
Right.
in the East, you have Ronnie Marsan, who is a heck of a candidate.
Yeah.
That guy, he should be the top vote getter.
I agree with that.
Nellie Soto. Do you know them?
I don't know her. I hear that she's an attorney, though, which
Okay,
I
that's
think is
good.
always a leg up if you
That's
know the
good.
laws. Although in Haverhill, that didn't seem to work out that well. I also know that Bill Heffernan is
He always needs to do that.
Bill Hannafin.
Bill Hannafin. I've always found he hates me, but I've always found him to be a really nice guy. He really cares about the community, but I don't know that he's got the political
Juice.
I don't know that he's got the political. Although I'm pretty sure Steve Saber's going to back him because he is Steve Saber's kind of.
The only thing I know about him is when he gets up to the podium and goes on his diatribes.
Right.
Other than
But
that,
a lot of times he's not wrong, though, and that's the thing.
that's fine.
Like, I watch it and I go, I wish this guy didn't hate me so much because he does such a good job sometimes.
And then Ruby, how do you pronounce that?
Ruby, I'm not even going to try.
Porhit?
Porhit,
Yeah,
yep.
Porhit.
And by the way, that is State Representative Francisco Polino's wife.
Oh, okay. So,
And she's, by the way, very smart. I was in his office one day last week. We were arguing about the gun bill that he is going to, I think, support. And she was agreeing with me. And I was like, why are you the state representative?
so
She's
she'll
very
have her
smart.
husband help her with the ins
Yeah, they've
and
got a
outs of
machine.
all
So
that.
I think she's going to be very much a force
All
to
right,
be
so
reckoned
we're
with.
running low on time.
All right.
Let's go to the next
Let's
graphic.
go to the next one if we've got it.
This is why I need to be the guest host.
I agree.
He rants too long.
We got plenty of time.
So we're going to go central,
All right.
and we're going to go. All right, so now we go on the central. You got the incumbent, Joel Ferretra, which Joel's pretty popular. I
Very
think.
well liked.
Yeah.
Very well liked. And I think a lot of times the voice of reason on that council.
Yeah. Derek Jones, I don't know him.
No idea.
Okay. Joyce Campagnon, it's your girl.
I love Joyce Campagnon. In fact, I not only do I love Joyce Campagnon, I love the next name even more.
Who?
So that's Sharon Burchill.
I don't know
Sharon Burchill ran, I think she ran at large about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. Sharon was on the Airport Commission in Lawrence for a while. She's been on the Methuen Exchange Club. She's been on the Lawrence Exchange Club. She's been very active. And she's really nice. She's really nice. She in full disclosure, is like a distant relative. She's like a third cousin. I don't know that she's going to be able to do the door knocking and do the groundwork that she needs to do. But if she pours it on even a little bit, she'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, and then the final name on there is Stephen Gillis. If he gets elected, you're going to have to give mental health services to me because I'll be in your place every day. The guy, I am not, sorry, Mr. Gillis, I am not a fan. He has zero self-control. I don't like people that.
I see his name on Facebook a lot.
I don't like people that don't carry themselves professionally. So I'm out on him. So if he gets elected, just you'll see me at your place every day.
I think he's got a shot.
From mental health counseling.
I think he's got a shot only because, by the way, he's not a dumb guy.
He isn't.
He's pretty smart. But I think he says, maybe not in the way that a lot of people would like him to, but I think a lot of things that he says, a lot of other people wish they could say. And he
First
says
of all,
it
let me
in a
use
way-
one example.
Okay.
All right, he hates Neil Perry like poison.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
I get it. You don't put the guy up on Facebook dressed as a freaking clown with makeup. Okay? That stuff aggravates
See,
me.
now I like that.
Can you act...
Not because it was Neil,
Can you
but-
act like a professional,
Yeah,
please?
right.
Can you conduct yourself in a normal manner?
You lose respect.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you do something like that, it's just delete.
Yeah,
Mentally, people just go delete.
And there's a lot. I'm just using that as one example.
Right,
There's a
right.
lot of other things. Okay, so the West, which is my district, we get Allison, who's a great kid.
Allison's great.
I shouldn't call her a kid, but I'm dating myself. So she does a good job. And Patricia Valley, they're both running unopposed. So let's just skip over them.
I don't think I know Patricia Valley, so.
Doesn't matter. She's in. So the school committee, we got Kristen Maxwell, who I believe lives off of Prospect
I
Street.
think I know her.
Ran into her once. Seems nice enough. My boy, Dan Shabilia. Okay, I know you don't like Dan.
That's not true.
Okay.
That's
You
not
sure?
true. I don't dislike Dan. I dislike some of the things that he does. I don't dislike him.
Oh.
My biggest problem with Dan is you could tell him, listen, the world will explode if you repeat this to anybody, but I'm telling you this for your own good.
I have heard this.
And before you finish your sentence, he's got a billboard on 495 with what you told him not to tell anybody.
Yes.
But other than that,
He's not very good at keeping
I
secrets.
think he cares about the community. I think he's very smart. But I don't dislike him at all. I think a lot of people
right.
misunderstand that.
I'm a big fan. He's a really good guy, good family guy. He cares about his kids immensely. So I think he'll do a good job. If it was up to me, I'd have him running for city council. Luann Santos.
She's the best.
She's an incumbent.
She's the best.
Does a great job. She's in.
I know her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laurie Keegan. Anybody know her?
Now, is she an incumbent? Is she one
No.
of the incumbents? I don't think so. I probably don't know
And
her.
the other incumbent is Ryan Dizal.
I love Ryan. I really
Does
hope
good.
he gets reelected
Yeah.
because he's one of those guys that doesn't care about his political future. If he has a question to ask and it's going to piss off all the insiders because he's kind of blowing the whistle on their facade that they put out at public meetings, he's still going to ask it and he's still going to blow the lid off their facade. And there's always good to have one pot stirrer on a board that's going to stop there's always this facade at every public board where they all kind of put on this face that we're all doing this for some, really altruistic reason. And then he's the guy on the side going, yeah, that's not really true. And I like that a lot.
Isn't he a teacher?
Yeah, he's a teacher in Lawrence, I think. Or he was in Lawrence. Maybe he's in Haverhill now. I'm not sure where he is now, but I know he was in
So
Lawrence.
that's helpful.
So the issue with this is there's only 5 candidates for 6 spots. So
Right.
there's going to need to be that's kind of disappointing. There is going to need to be a write-in on that one.
Right.
So
And if they had a primary, we wouldn't have this problem. But City Council will not do it. They won't do it because it protects them.
all right. Well, you keep harping on it.
I am. I'm going to keep harping on it until they do it.
Well, there's nothing we can do now.
It's hard to say that Lawrence does a better job at their elections than Methuen, but Lawrence does a better job at their elections than Methuen because they always have primaries. If there's nobody on the ballot, they have a primary.
Yeah,
And that allows
I agree.
people to run.
Turnout is always low.
Yeah.
So. So that's where we're at with the candidates. There's some of them that I really like. Some of them, there's only one that I would kill myself if he got elected.
Tell us how you really feel.
Right.
It's I have.
And they roll their eyes at me, Chrissy, right? See that?
No, I mean seriously. You've seen. I'm that
I
way.
know.
I just don't like that stuff. The personal attacks and the.
I think
nonsense.
there's a place for it when you have a political class, when you have a political elite class in a community that thinks that their shit doesn't stink and they're above everything, and then someone like that comes along and harpoons them like that. It kind of knocks them down a few pegs, and that's what I kind of like. And I'm not saying it because it was Neil. I would say it if he was doing it to like my favorite politician in the world. I still think there's a value to that, and I think that's something that's contributing to the conversation. So.
I'm all for criticism. It's just the way you go about it.
Right.
Right. There's stuff that I don't agree with that goes on in the city of Methuen, but
Right.
I carry myself in a way that'll make my wife, my kids, and my parents and my siblings proud. I'm not going to go out and do that stuff. So.
Right.
So.
Now you had something else you wanted to do. You had something.
Yeah. Well, I walked in here and your your producer greeted me with a hug. So I always get.
Did you tell her how inappropriate that is?
I always get a hug, and no one's ever accused me of being an attractive man, so I want to know what that's all about.
Oh, that's so inappropriate.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Lisa. You got to join me with this. When I say it, you're rolling your eyes. So
He doesn't
He
like.
didn't say anything. He didn't say anything.
so
I
didn't
hugged
say
him hello when he
inappropriate.
got here. There's nothing inappropriate. I hugged him, and if anyone thinks that's
you never
inappropriate,
know how someone's going to
write
feel.
me a letter.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe she feels bad for me because I'm homely. You know? No, I do have something else. I do have some running out of time. Yeah, because he took up half of the show ranting, and I didn't even get to half of my
That's all
Methuen
right.
financial.
We'll
notes.
have you back.
So I have something. I got to take this off.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it off, and we'll get that done. He has a little surprise.
Yeah, so
for
while
you.
he's doing that, let's pull up the Borelli's thing. So this is.
I already did it while y'all were talking.
You did? All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's,
I mean,
let's
I can
give
do
a-
it again if you
Is
really
this-
need
Yeah,
it.
do it, because I want to tell
Sandwich of the
people
day?
while they're looking at it, this is the sandwich of the day tomorrow
Okay.
at Borelli's Deli, which I will definitely be at. This is the Tuscan veal chicken sandwich. It's chicken cutlet with prosciutto, roasted reds, fresh mozzarella, balsamic glaze, and grated cheese on a Tripoli sub roll. That's actually the clincher right there, the Tripoli sub roll, because
Yeah.
they got great sub rolls at Tripoli. So we want to encourage you to go to Borelli's Deli tomorrow. I'm going to be going there.
Tomorrow's sandwich, let's be
Right,
clear.
that's tomorrow's sandwich. So what is
He's
what is
back. Oh, hang
this?
on.
50th.
Come on.
250. Yeah, I need a lighter.
Jesus. Oh, there you go. He's got it.
Oh my God, that is so cute.
So I was supposed to be here last week, right?
Yeah.
Yes, somebody got bumped.
Did all my show prep and everything for your 250th.
Can't get that last one in. Is it a trick candle? There you
All right.
go. All right.
So-
well, thank you very much. And
Oh
it's
my God.
chocolate
I
too.
mean, I gotta take a
I
picture
might
of
actually.
This is so nice.
I don't need sweets, but I might actually eat that.
You don't
That's
need
pretty-
sweets, it's chocolate.
Okay, get together.
that's for
Come
you.
on, the two of you.
Oh, there we go.
I love it.
Okay?
For my
Beautiful.
250th
Congratulations.
episode.
Happy at 250. You can blow
thank
out
you.
the candles.
They're gonna take a wish.
Because you're long-winded today. You sure you can blow those out? And I guess we'll have to come back.
Please.
I'm going to have to come back from all my
I am
financials.
so impressed with how you do the your bash and you just talk. It's amazing,
He's a professional
Oh,
talker.
thank you.
right?
Thank you.
Yeah, it depends on what he talks about.
He's
Some
an
of it,
amazing public speaker.
some of it we love, and some of it
Yeah.
that comes out of your
You
mouth.
are. You
Oh, thank
do
you.
an amazing
Thank you. I
job.
got asked to speak. TMF, the kids that do the homeless dinners and stuff, they have meetings on Monday nights, and Michael asked me to speak to them about like politics, but not necessarily politics, but like how does your local government work? Because a lot of these kids, when they get thrown out of the bus station, can we go 5 minutes? Is that okay, hon? That's a no.
I mean, we're already there,
Okay.
but
Oh, I'm sorry.
So when they get thrown out of the bus, I'll do it real quick. When they get thrown out of the bus station, they didn't understand why, and they didn't understand like what is this all about? Why would the mayor be mad at us? We're feeding homeless people. So So Michael asked me to kind of speak to them like periodically about how does your local government work? Like what does the mayor do? What does the city council do? And I was. Of all the things that I've spoken to, all the groups that I've spoken to, that was like one of my favorites because we're actually learning stuff. And so if I can speak and someone can learn something, I'm happy. That's, I guess, what was my point. Anyways.
I love it.
So I want to thank Dave Consoli here at Pleasant Valley Landscaping, AFC Urgent Care, Lisa Williams. You can roll up, Mel, if you want to. McLennan Real Estate, Century 21. We're going to get Matt on maybe at the end of the summer as we approach election time to talk about the really crazy changing real estate market. I don't know what's going on with the real estate market, but it's just nuts. I think they're waiting for interest rates to either go up or down. Maybe that's the problem. The Zany Pesci Law Office, Marsan & Son Construction, EIS, Investigation and Gun Trading, Borelli's Deli, you mentioned. Tomo and Shaken Seafood, you've got to try the kamikaze if you go to Tomo's. Try it, and it's not.
Good to know.
It's not raw fish. Everybody thinks sushi's raw fish. It's not raw. Try the kamikaze. Clear Path for Veterans New England, AFC Urgent Care, Pleasant Valley, Stacks and Pa 28, as well as Loaded in Haverhill, which we're going to next week, and a free shout out to JG's Ice Cream. Also, August 19th.
Yes.
Saturday night, music bingo at the Clada in Lawrence for our Valley Patriot Bash in March. And every Thursday night, music bingo at Sadie's in Salem. This month, the proceeds are going to go to TMF to help them help the homeless, which is also pretty amazing.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
Mel says we got to go home, so let's go home already.
Go home already. That was good. I like
The
that.
views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.